Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the JayBee Milly channel. I am JayBee and today I'm going to be giving a quick top 5 review or quick top 5 recommendation video about the top 5 Scooby Doo books that you can read for World Book Day. Now it is World Book Day in the UK currently, and I do think in America it's about a month later, so we're kind of on the last minute in terms of the UK version, but because most of our audience does seem to be from the US anyway, I suppose we're doing this quite a bit early, which is good. Now bear in mind a few things. We don't have Milly today, so if you do want to see a top 10 books for the American release date, we can definitely get that together. But also bear in mind that I can only recommend what I've read and what I've been consuming personally, so unfortunately that means that I can't really recommend stuff like the Scooby Doo team up stories or much of, Scooby Doo meets Batman, because I've just not read them. But if you do want to recommend for me some of those issues down below in the comment section, I'll really appreciate that, because I'm always looking for some new Scooby content to kind of sink my teeth into. Now, more often than not, I do tend to prerequisite these things with my criteria, and that's no different here, but it's a little bit more simplified, shall we say. Now, World Book Day is kind of a kids thing, it's a way to teach kids about the joy of reading and learning, so I'm going to keep it quite family friendly. I have been delving into Scooby Apocalypse, but I'm not going to be including stuff like that on this list today. But that's about it. So, without further ado, let's get into number 5. So my number 5 is My Life and Toys by Brian Levant, and the reason why it's so low down, like honestly I could have put this way higher, but I kind of just feel like it would have been a bit of a cop-out to put this so high on the list when it's not explicitly to do with Scooby or Scooby-Doo, because that's the theme of this video, that's the theme of the channel at the moment, so it gets the number 5 spot, but I do think it's a worthy contender because it's kind of a double whammy in terms of what it teaches kids. Now, I do expect that in this case it's a very expensive book, it's a very hefty book, so it will probably be something that a parent or guardian or perhaps older sibling or anything of that capacity will help a child kind of flick through. But it not only teaches kids the value of books, you're going to want to look after this, and it's also kind of nice from a picture perspective where it displays all the toys, and that's kind of the crux really, I know that when I was a kid there's a lot of things that I just didn't look after properly that I kind of kick myself now, like, oh, why didn't I not even just keep it in the box, but why didn't I respect this more, why did I kind of let this get damaged in some way, and really regretting it now. So I think it will teach kids to respect their toys and their collectibles as well, in terms of, just it may even incentivize them to display things nicely. And I think to give a kid not only the joy of reading, but also the joy of appreciating what they have is, I think, such a great gift. So without a shadow of a doubt, this is number 5, but also there is a Scooby section in there as well, so definitely on theme. And in 4th place we have the Scooby Doo novelizations, not just specifically this one that's shown on screen. I'm kind of referring to all of the novelizations of things, be it for the 2002 movie, Monsters Unleashed, Mystery Begins, Scoob, all of those things, because I guess it doesn't get high on the list in that, well, why would you read it if you can watch it? But I think that's the whole point in a way. I think in terms of for education purposes, they could kind of try and do two at the same time, so that more or less what they're seeing on the page, they can see what it looks like spoken. Now, it isn't, word for word, but I think it could even be the first introduction to an audiobook type thing. And as well, there's some parts in this novelization that's on the screen that was deleted. So for instance, there's a funny scene in the kind of airport to go to Spooky Island where Fred's approached by 2 girls who he thinks they're trying to check him out, but they're actually looking at a baby that stood right behind him. And when we spoke to Adele K. Thomas, she actually played one of those girls in that movie in a deleted scene that's never seen the light of day. So it's also like a way of getting a deeper dive into that movie as well, which is just such a treat. So yeah, that's number 4. It just couldn't get higher up because more often than not with these novelizations, it's very much a case of it's a companion media as opposed to an original story. So that's the only reason why it's not higher up. And third, we have the Scooby Doo Gold Key comics, a very tricky one that I wasn't even sure if I wanted to include, purely for the fact that it kind of goes against all of what I know as a collector. So, in terms of comic books, I'm definitely not the type of person that puts comic books in slabs or goes into the business of getting them graded. And it's not that I'm fundamentally against that, it's just not my thing. I do insist on keeping them safe and protected though, so maybe a cardboard backing and a foil kind of overlay, something like that, not necessarily to retain value like grading, but just to avoid, sun damage, dust damage, stuff like that. I try and keep it safe. So I can't really fathom a kid getting their hands on something that's so old and rare at this point. And I guess, again, parents could help them, but it's a tricky one to get into the content of, in my opinion. But I feel like the stories are so good that it's definitely worth giving it a shot. So you've got straight adaptations that you see from What a Night for a Night, but then you've got original stories by Mark Evanier, who also allowed us to interview him, and that is on the channel as well. I'll leave it in the description. But such great stories. And it's actually Mark Evanier's birthday today, so huge shout out and happy birthday to you. I just couldn't not. I mean, come on, his birthday is on World Book Day. He's given us some amazing Scooby Doo books. Definitely worth the read. Now, I'm going to do a bit of a cop-out here, and so I'm glad that Millie isn't around to shout at me or to berate me, but I'm not going to make this my second space. I'm going to make this my co-first space. It's just, both of these titles, both of these kind of storylines deserve number one spot, but I think for the different demographic of World Book Day. Now, I know from my experience being at school, we never really formally celebrated World Book Day in terms of cosplaying or dressing up, but what we did do is we had these scholastic fairs where the whole kind of school auditorium would change and become a little bit of a library where you can read and buy books. And I don't know if it was to help kids read or if it was some brand deal that Scholastic had. I'm not entirely sure, but there were different, they were sorted into different shelves. So we had the preteen section, the YA section, the young readers section, all on their own separate shelves. And I feel like for the more young readers side of things, any book by Jesse Leon McCann is perfect Scooby-Doo books. It's perfect kind of mini literature. Like, they are literally episodes of stuff like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? What's New Scooby-Doo? But in book form with gorgeous illustrations, so true to character writing. I think if you are, say, at any age, your parents can read it to, or guardians can read it to, or anything like that. But I think it's suitable. I mean, I can still read them and enjoy them now, and I'm 24. But suitable, say, if you want to read it yourself, from maybe 4 to 7. I'm not really sure. I just kind of feel like for the younger demographic, any title by Jesse Leon McCann, Scooby-Doo, is the one for you. And I don't think I can expand upon it more. It is quite literally original stories, but they're in a book. It's like almost, how Marvel do prelude comics or expanded media, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer has gone on to see a whole new season but in graphic novel form. It's a little bit like that. So for people that say, oh, I wish there was another season of What's New Scooby-Doo, well, we pretty much have that in these Jesse Leon McCann books. So it has to be my co-number one spot. But what's the other one? Let's find out now. So the Daphne and Velma series by Josephine Ruby, the first one, and Morgan Baden for number 2 and 3. It's definitely more YA, so I don't know if it teeters on that edge of being more of a World Book Day thing, or if it's perhaps for another situation. But I think this is the great progression in terms of a Scooby-Doo book that's, I guess the first one more than the rest, is that introduction. It's like, I hate to use this reference now because it's kind of been banished to the Shadow Realm, but when I think about the tone of Harry Potter, that's definitely what the first book is like. It's like kind of the introductions. Everything is a little bit more cheery, a little bit more, dare I say, simplistic. But then when Morgan Baden takes over for 2 and 3, we start to see that the franchise actually grows up with us a bit. So for all I think the first Daphne and Velma book is perfect for new YA readers, maybe even people that are reading it a year or so in advance, absolutely perfect for that. But then if you like the story, you like the characters, books 2 and 3 elevate the characters and make it a more mature story, especially by the third one. I mean, I won't spoil it, but it goes places that I didn't expect a YA Scooby Doo franchise affiliated book to go, but in the absolute best way possible. So I really don't think you can go wrong with these books. And again, you got to read them in order. So you've got The Vanished Girl, you've got Dark Deception, and then of course Buried Secrets. Definitely read them in order because, like I say, it does definitely grow up and evolve with the readers. But yeah, that's definitely my co-number one spot along with the Jesse Leon McCann books. And again, the amazing Modern Baden has graced us with an interview, in fact a trilogy of interviews now, so I'll leave them in the description down below as well. So if you do want to see more from us, then please like, comment and subscribe to JayBee Milly, and happy World Book Day.